All right, today is July 11th. Back in the day, 225 years ago, 1798, the U.S. Marine Corps permanently established by Congress. But as any real Marine knows, the actual birth of the Marines was 2 decades earlier. John Adams drafted the original resolution to raise 2 battalions in November of 1775 for the Revolutionary War. And once he became president, he also got to be the guy who signed the bill to permanently establish the Corps in 1978. So, Semper Fi, Marines. 219 years ago, 1804, Alexander Hamilton engaged in a pistol duel with Vice President Aaron Burr. Can you imagine? The Vice President.
Yeah, dude. That's where rap started. That's a big day.
It's a big day, yeah. 219 years ago. It was a fight to the death. Hamilton lost. But he still lives on with a $10 bill and a badass Broadway play. Am I right, guys?
That's right.
Yeah.
Aaron Burr actually finished out his term as Thomas Jefferson's VP, but his political career was dead.
Why is that?
Because he killed somebody in a duel. 38 years ago, 1985, Coca-Cola said it would keep selling the awful new Coke, but also resume selling the much tastier Coke Classic. This was such a big deal that the TV networks actually interrupted afternoon soap operas to give the public the important news. New Coke and Classic Coke. 36 years ago, 1987, Bo Jackson of the Kansas City Royals became a 2-sport star by signing with the LA Raiders. He was an all-star in both sports. Nike started the entire Bo Knows campaign around him.
The best. The best.
In
the
1992.
coolest posters, the best shoes.
92, he was done.
I would argue the best sports memorabilia card ever made was a Bo Jackson card, where he had on shoulder pads.
The two things and the bat.
Yeah, a bat over the shoulder pads with his arms.
Oh, yeah.
Every kid in the Midwest had that on their wall.
I had that poster on my wall.
It was a poster, but it came from, it was a card.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it was a football card or a baseball card.
I didn't know it was a card. I thought it was just a poster, huh?
No.
So inspiring, so awesome. I mean, he was like one of my biggest sports heroes, maybe the biggest sports hero for me. And I wish these days, 40-something-year-old Moon wishes he didn't play football. I wish we had another 15 years of baseball career out of that.
He blew out his hip, right? Was it the
playing for the Raiders? Smashed his hip, dislocated or something.
He was running. The guy grabbed on and ripped it right out.
He was real good at football too.
I know he was good at everything.
So
the
on
guy
this
was
day,
great at everything. The best.
36 years ago, he signs with the Raiders and becomes a 2-sport player. 34 years ago, 1989, Bo Jackson wins the MVP of the All-Star game for baseball.
Jeez.
The only pro athlete to be an all-star in 2 sports.
And a Heisman guy.
Was he a Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah.
I'm almost certain he is one of the few Heisman's winners of his
I
position.
remember him playing for the Royals and catching a ball, and he ran up on the wall with his cleats. He was like the first guy. He ran up the wall like Jackie Chan, caught the ball on the run, running up the wall. Like used his cleats to climb pop holes in the foam and climb it.
Cool.
And had a cannon, dude.
This dude.
Cannon, he'd throw you out of home from like the warning track.
This dude won the Heisman in '85, voted MVP in the '89 baseball All-Star game.
Yeah.
I mean, from 4 years, he had a Heisman and an MVP trophy from 2 different sports.
He made the Pro Bowl in 1990 for football.
Yeah, unbeatable in Super Tecmo Bowl.
Oh, yeah. If
you played
the Raiders,
Super Tecmo Bowl,
you can't
the only player that was better than him, Christian Okoye, for the Kansas City Chiefs, was 100%. He was so good on Super Tecmo Bowl, like you could run people over with that dude. But you had to be the Raiders or the Chiefs in that game if you wanted to run the football.
Can you name a greater all-round athlete? Period, and I mean period.
Than Bo Jackson.
Can
Like
you?
Kurt
'Cause
Rambis.
I can't.
LeBron. No, I'm kidding.
No,
Just,
get out of here.
Get out of here. Come on, I like to run. Let's go.
I don't know.
Wasn't-
Deion Sanders was pretty good.
Yeah, Deion
was
Sanders,
absolutely
incredible. Brian Jordan.
But I think Bo Jackson.
Not Brian Jordan.
He
Well,
was good.
Deion Sanders was
was
not
good.
great in baseball. Like he was great
pretty
in
good,
football.
man.
He's not an all-star MVP.
Maybe not.
I thought
Bo Jackson could have been an all-star MVP,
But he had a
10
much
times
more.
if he played.
he had a
more.
World Series. Didn't he get some rings?
He might have, but he had a much more prolific NFL career.
of
Now,
course.
granted, that's maybe Bo would have, but Deion was pretty good. Mahomes was, he was. A lot of these guys, you would be surprised that I think maybe Josh Allen too. A lot of those guys I mean, Mahomes was a
I'm not
John
saying
Elway was
I'm not saying
drafted.
they're
People
not-
wanted to draft Mahomes for
John
Major
Elway was
League
drafted
Baseball.
by the New York Yankees.
I'm not saying they're not great. I'm just saying I don't think they could have performed
Michael Jordan?
like Bo Jackson. I think that one of the biggest
Sports star.
the biggest tragedies in sports history is the injury of Bo Jackson.
It was. It was very, it was a kind that, like, it affects you for the rest of your life.
There are a couple athletes that they were forced to pick one or two. Like, hey, you could do one or the other. You can't do both.
Yeah.
31 years ago, 1992, presidential candidate Ross Perot addresses the NAACP as, quote, you people.
Oh, God.
What do you mean, you people?
Ross Perot and his big old ears is all I think about.
Hey, let me tell you something. Ross Perot says.
You people. Everybody went, what do you mean by
Yeah.
you people? 23 years ago, the year 2000, Lars Ulrich of Metallica appears before the U.S. Senate panel to testify against the website Napster, which, remember, allowed people to trade music for free over the internet. And 15 years ago, 2008, Apple releases the iPhone 3G, 16 gigs of storage, 3.5-inch screen, and weighed 4.7 ounces. And 2 years ago today, in 2021, Richard Branson makes his first space flight. He and a 5-man crew went 53 miles above the Earth and achieved weightlessness for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then came back down.
That documentary is cool, too, if you haven't watched
Branson
that.
one?
Mm-hmm.
You remember
I
that
think
whole,
it's 3 parts.
you remember that whole Napster thing, man? Like all the bands taking sides. It was like Metallica's over here, and then other people saying, yeah, Metallica's making a point. They're making a point. And then other people are like, no, bro, it's music, it's art. Like, we're on that side. And, like,
Well, I
I think a lot of people were crushed and heartbroken to find out that Metallica runs itself like a business.
Well, and what was I think it was the Offspring.
Mind blowing.
The Offspring, I think, were one of the only bands that was pro Napster.
Oh no, that was a few.
We're pro Napster.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I think one of the bigger bands to make their face the name of the organization.
I'm pretty sure. What's a gal from Hole?
Courtney
Love.
Wasn't she like super on that camp?
I just remember the Offspring on one side and Metallica on the other side.
Yeah.
All right, that's what happened back in the day.